Okay, so let's talk about thinning beets and how you can get a lot more harvest out of the same amount of space. Hey, it's Paul here with Seedtime, and this is our beet patch right now, and we have made a mistake with it. And that is that I have not come and thinned it early enough. Actually, we went on a family vacation, family reunion for a couple weeks, and I should have thinned it before we left. And then we got back and have been busy. Anyways, I did start thinning it down here at the front, and you'll notice, and this is one of the reasons why thinning is so important. We've got a nice sized beet right here. I started thinning a little bit. This one's starting to form a little beet here as well. And we're going to see that along here, we probably have other ones that do as well, but look at how thick that is. There's just no space for the beets to really grow well, and they're crowding each other out. So we're going to talk about two things. One is thinning them. How far apart do you want to thin them? How do you do that, etc. The second is there's a pretty cool little trick here of how you can get a bunch more harvest out of the same amount of space. So let's talk about that first. Number one is you want to seed your beets thickly. Like we did here, we seeded them pretty thickly. And then if you let them grow, you don't want to let them grow quite this tall. Like I said, we should have come and thinned them a little bit earlier. But you can let them grow till they're a few inches tall, and then come along and thin them like I am going to do right now here. And basically what we're just going to do is take out a bunch of the extra beets, and it might seem a little bit like a massacre, but here's the cool thing. Talk about that extra harvest is you can take all of these beet green thinnings, just cut off the roots, and they make great, fantastic greens that you can eat. So you're not actually wasting the beets when you thin them. You're going to take them and eat them, and that just increases your harvest. Okay, so the ultimate distance that you'll want to thin between your beets is around 2. If you're going to really do them a little bit further apart, or really want bigger beets, you can do anywhere between 2 to 3 inches apart. But using this principle of thinning, you could actually come and thin your beets down to about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart, let them grow baby beets, and then come along and thin those baby beets out. Then you've got more greens that you can eat, more baby beets that you can eat, right? Let the rest of them grow up to the full-size beet, and you're just maximizing your production and harvest out of that crop. So if I was going to do that, I would come in like I am doing right here now, and I'm going to look for the smaller ones. I want to save the bigger ones as much as possible. So I'm going to look at pulling out the smallest plants that I can, any plants that are kind of crowding out the other ones. This is, about 1.5 inches apart. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to thin these down to about 1.5 inches apart and pull out these extra ones. And then we're going to let those grow into those baby beets, like I just said. And we'll have that extra harvest. And we'll save these thinnings as well. We'll take them up and cook them up. They're great. You could steam them with a little water and then just add some olive oil and salt on them. Absolutely wonderful. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come do this in this whole beet patch. Here's the thing. My guess is that if I had thinned them earlier, we already would have a bunch of baby-sized beets. Like you can see here, this is a pretty good-sized beet already, and it had no crowding issues. And so that's probably one of the reasons why it grew so nice and big. Whereas all of these ones that I'm pulling out right now, look how tiny these are. They're not even really, you can't even hardly really consider that a beet, right? But they still have good greens, and they're still going to work well. So like I said, I'm going to come in, thin them to about 1 inch, 1.5 inches apart, and then later on we'll come back and thin out those baby beets and use them. So take these tips, use them for thinning your beets, and you can get an even greater harvest by taking those thinnings, right, and just doing like a staggered thinning system. So I'm almost done thinning the beets here, and you can see the difference probably in the amount of foliage compared to some of those earlier shots. And as it came down to the end here, it looks like the plants were planted a little bit thinner. They weren't seeded quite as thickly, and sure enough, here you can see, kind of like I was thinking it would happen, we have more baby size beets here. So they're not quite to their full size, but they're baby size. And I mean, we still got spots that are a little bit more densely planted, but there's definitely more of these baby size beets in here. So that's how, you know, if I had thinned them earlier, probably most of the patch would look like this, and we'd be picking baby beets. But hey, we're still good with these greens. The greens are good too. All right, now look at all of this harvest. Wow, that is a bunch of beet greens. And you know, if we weren't thinking about thinning like we are here, using these, like all of those could just end up going to waste, but you don't have to. You can use them, cook them, eat them. They're great. So hey, thanks for watching, and guess what? If you want to grow your own beets, we got a special little coupon for you down below, 20% off your next seed order, so jump down, check that out. Plus, we're also giving away our Ultimate Garden Cheat Sheet, which has great, fantastic spacing for your plants as a quick lookup guide to quickly see how far apart you should space your plants, which plants to direct seed, which plants to transplant, and more. So jump down, grab your free cheat sheet, get your 20% discount, and subscribe to our channel. Look forward to catching you in the next video.